So there is this photo that I want to make that is being scratching me for 2-3 years, and I guess I'm gonna try it tonight. So I'm gonna do this photo as I did last year, 2019. That photo gave me the 3rd place in the astrophotography photo competition in the Azores. What I did 2 pictures. One of them, when it was the blue light, and the second photo will be with the Milky Way. And then I will switch both of them on Photoshop, and boom, we have a beautiful photo with the landscape. The place that we are going now, it's called Cidade, the lake. I always wanted to make a good picture of that lake with the Milky Way, but it seems to be a little bit impossible because at least the viewpoint that I know, it's not facing the Milky Way, it's facing the tail of the Milky Way. I found out on Google Maps that it has a viewpoint on the opposite side of the lake of the viewpoint that I actually know, and I'm gonna go there now tonight. I never been there, I have no idea what is gonna happen when I will make that photo.
You've arrived at your destination.
Well, everyone, I already did the first photo. I had to run because I didn't want to miss the moment that the blue light goes away. So I guess this is a good moment to explain what I mean about the blue light. First of all, I am seeing it wrong, it's blue hour. Yeah, let's go with blue hour, although it's not an hour, it's a story of angles. Roughly, let's say 20, 30, 40 minutes after the sunset, you have glowing blue. Actually, this picture represented really well here in the Photopills website. And you have this beautiful decorative between the blue and the reds from the sun, and the sun it's not visible. Really pretty, but in this case we don't care about that. What is happening here is that we still have some light on the landscape. This one really isn't exposed for the landscape, it's exposed for the details on the sky, but there we go. If you want to read this, I leave the link on the description, and there we go. It's photographed the landscape for the Milky Way. You just have to choose with the morning blue hour or the sunset blue hours. In our case, actually, although I arrived a little bit late, I was lucky enough to have some help from the moon. This is not the sun, this is the moon, and the moon it's casting a little bit of shadow, for example here on this mountain, and it has a little bit of more light over here. So there we go, let me show you the picture. You can see that actually the Milky Way already creeping out over here, but it will be way more visible in about 15 minutes. Now, before I took the picture, make sure that the framing that you want is the correct one. If your camera it's well leveled, if everything in the tripod is tightened down so it won't move at all. And the second point, try to get a good exposure. Don't use the ISO to get the exposure, use the shutter speed because you still have light, use the shutter speed and make it a long exposure, okay? About the aperture, I used the 2.8 because it's the limit that I can open on this lens. I focused in close to infinity, but not really at the infinity. It will get a sharp image at infinity. I already tested on this lens and I have some focus on the landscape. So this is a wide angle, this is a 14 millimeters wide angle. And yes, you have a big depth of field, so it's not really an issue. Don't touch the focus, don't touch the aperture, don't touch anything. Well, not really don't touch anything. You need to touch the camera to change the ISO. So let me explain why the aperture and the focus won't move on this particular picture. Because it will be the same as the long exposure to photograph the Milky Way. So the aperture won't change, so it won't change the depth of field, and the focus also won't change. I could change the focus, but I would add some breathing problems from the lens. So, and it's an unnecessary risk because I know that all that I want to be on focus is on focus. There you go. Each 10 minutes I'm gonna take one picture just to select the best one that I like more. I guess I'm gonna wait until the Milky Way will be on the center of the lake. So everyone, it's almost 11. I'm starting to see one problem over here. If I press play, you can see that the stars in the lights has some dashes, and that is a problem. Something is in the lens. It's the humidity, it's falling on the camera. As you can see, the camera has a lot of drops of water. If it's in the camera, it's on the lens as well. As I suspected, that need to be cleaned. The best way to clean this with absorbing serviette. Let's try to clean the lens. So the humidity, it's fighting to stay there. This is the best that I can do for now. After using this bad boy, because it's a dirty bad boy, let's use some real cloth to clean the lens. And it won't be perfect because here in the Azores the humidity always wins, so don't try to fight it, just accept it. Maybe the photo will be much beautiful with the stars with a dash on it. So yeah, let's try to take the picture of this. I'm gonna press the shutter release. There we go, it's taking the photo. And if you are wondering how I am taking this photo, it's the normal Milky Way photo that I already explained on that video over there. So it's pretty damn basic. I explained lenses, every single thing in detail, the 500 rule, everything. So everything you need to know, it's there. That's the photo that I am doing here. And there we go, let's take a look at it. Yeah, much better, much better. So I'm gonna wait that the center of the Milky Way, it's in the middle of the lake, so it looks better. And as you can see here, there is some really bad lighting on the green here. It's no problem because I'm gonna use the first image that I made in early this night. As you can see, the village has a little bit of fog, so it gets a little bit of mysterious ambience to the photo. So I am quite loving this. Maybe if the Milky Way will be on the center, it doesn't have the fog, I'm gonna pick that fog on this picture to be on the final image. There you go. Well done! I got one image that Milky Way, it's perfectly on the lake. Perfectly there, like boom. I have my pictures, I have a lot of the lake itself, sometimes with fog. I think I'm gonna play a little bit with all those pictures and try to make something cool. And the cool thing we shall make. Now, some additional information because I changed a little bit the rules here. This is the photo that I show off while I was filming on the field. It's the perfect framing that I want to make. If you see the time here, it's 10:39, it's not 10:39, it is 9:39. The camera had a time code from Lisbon, not from the Azores, so yeah. You can see just next to it, there is a photo way better exposed. And if you look at the time frame, it was a difference of 5 minutes. Yeah, too bad that the frame didn't match properly. Just check if your camera it's well leveled. Now, another thing, I won't use the photos that I have with the humidity on the lens in doing this trails because the trails are really not good. All of them have different angles depending of the wipe that they had, so not using that. Another thing that I'm not using is the Milky Way with the 90 degrees to the ground. I don't like it. I decided that I don't like it because it doesn't look like nature. Nature having some stuff 19 degrees or rectangles to each other sometimes doesn't really, I don't like it. So I did use this photo to combine with the landscape. So I already did that. I already did the Photoshop job. Here we are. Beautiful, isn't it? Not quite, because I'm not happy with the result of the landscape. It's way too dark. So I am forced to redo this work with this image over here. The camera isn't leveled, but at least it has a way better exposure. You can see that it's way better. So I already done that on this image over here. As you can see now, there is an area that I need to crop. So this, I really prefer to crop this image and have a way better looking image than not cropping. Let me guide you through. So the photo that I want to use with the Milky Way, the landscape, as you can see. Okay, let's apply a mask. It looks like this, immediately looking way better, but it's not done yet. Recover a little bit, the fog is look like I am dodging burning, but I am not really. I am recovering some images from the photo from the Milky Way. If I hide this mask, as you can see, it's the photo of the Milky Way, and if I apply the mask, it has some details on the fog and the lights that I want to recover back to this image, and of course some curves adjustment. Now, what I'm not happy yet is the color grading of the landscape. So I'm gonna, as you can see, I imported into Photoshop as a smart object, so you can re-edit in Photoshop. So you re-edit in Camera Raw. If you don't know how to do that, I'm gonna just really fast show you. So I'm gonna edit this image in RAW. I press it here, open in RAW. And now, instead of open in Photoshop, I press Shift. You can see that open object. That's the main trick. Boom, you can see that I imported as a smart object. Double click and boom, I am back editing on Camera Raw. If you want to know how to edit the photos in Camera Raw or Lightroom or some software like that, I have really great 3 examples how to edit the Milky Way that I made a collaboration with other photographers, and also how I edit my Milky Way photos as well. So there is a playlist that you can sort it through to watch those videos to know how to edit. So I won't focus on that. I am focusing on why? So I am focused here on double exposure editing. I'm gonna re-edit the landscape photo back in Camera Raw. Easy done. Press OK. It will update the smart object, and there we go. How cool and easy is this? Now, if you have some difficulties with the mistake that I did and try to align, it will be extremely hard to align. Let me get this. So you guys are wondering, well, it should be really easy to align the photo of the Milky Way with the photo of the landscape. Not quite, because we are using wide angle. Wide angle lens has really weird distortion, and when you move, things get weird, okay? So the best thing that you can do is pick up this photo, go to difference, layer style, and try as fast as you can. It won't be perfect. Align everything that you can. So if all of the image get black, that means that you have a perfect alignment. Well, there is the alignment distortion that this won't be perfect ever. So you have to play with the mask and try to fade the transition between the 2 photos neatly, as I did here. As an example, you see here, this part over here, I played a little bit with the fog, giving an idea of transition. So if I hide the landscape photo, you can see that I am using the original photo from the stars because it was easier to blend, okay? And then using the fog to transition to the landscape photo. That's a neat trick. You can try it out yourselves. Let me put this back to normal so it won't get weird. And again, here there is a soft transition. And when you do these transitions, it's much easier just to use the brush tool. Let's make it big, use it big, and not use 100% of the brush, just use like 20%, 10%, and try to smooth the transition out. If you can check the photo here, everything is very blurred, everything is smoothed out, because the imperfection of this transition will make it real, okay? There you go. So, what do you guys think? Now I just need to crop. Now I don't like these two leaves like hanging there. There you go. So I guess we are done. So drop a like if you learned something, comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I am Miguel, that's Sun, it's pissing me off. See ya.